Once again, a huge thank you to all of our financial supporters. Firstly, our supporters over at patreon.com/878survivor.fm, all of our production managers. We cannot thank you all enough for your continued ongoing support. All of your names are there on the screen right now. A big shout out to our producer, Red Freedom. Mate, 18 months, you're an absolute mad lad. Cannot thank you enough. Also, we have to give a big shout out to all of our growing YouTube members, all of our new tier, the Emote Bandits, our existing tier, the 87.8 Survivors, and a special shout out to our podcast bosses, whose names are again all on the screen right there. I cannot thank you all enough. Please keep up the support. It helps our show go on each and every week, and we get to do great giveaways, and our end of year Christmas episode is going to be an absolute cracker this year, folks. All the best, and we hope you enjoy this week's show.
Welcome to episode 124 of the Dayz podcast. I'm joined here by Iceblade and the Console Cult. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, good. Good, thanks.
Doing
Thanks for
very
having
well.
us on here.
Awesome. Well, how about you, Goblin? How are you doing, man?
Wow.
Absolutely.
Doing good, man.
People are saying there's an audio loop.
My walls are just melting a little bit over here.
Yeah. Here, let me know, guys. Is the audio still looping? I think it's fixed. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's good now. I'm pretty sure I have it all fixed. Welcome on in, everybody. This is, like I said, episode 124 of the Dayz podcast. Lad, unfortunately, couldn't make it in today. And, of course, unfortunately, Dumpgra has chose to part ways. So, here we are. We got quite the
So
agenda
you
set up
scraped the
today.
bottom of the barrel and got us.
Yeah.
Definitely choppy over here.
I had to go over and get the console people now, you know. Reaching the bottom of the bin.
That's it.
No,
Console
it's a pleasure to have you
takeover.
guys on. We have quite the agenda today. If we go over to the agenda, if you guys want to pull that up, we can jump right into it. One of the biggest things, which I think all of us are aware of, is 119. A lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it, and a lot of people are in between. So, what do you guys take on it so far? Have you guys had much of a chance to play it? If so, what do you feel, or how do you feel about it?
You're gonna have to start picking people to talk.
Who wants to be the lucky one?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Rightio.
We had his console had a real rough introduction to it. It was very, very late. They had technical issues all over the joint. So we started off quite late. But currently, I know there's a bit of debacle about how the movement is. I personally don't mind it. I've played it for quite a bit and really gotten used to it like you do every other update. When something else changes, you adapt. Yeah. I haven't cracked the vault yet. I'm happy to do that tonight. But the Humvee's fun. We ran around on an event and had the Humvees racing. They handle like a boat. We got out the guns, had to roll with the guns. So on console it was pretty good. The update coming in, not too many glitches that I've seen personally.
I like that
But
they changed all items in the
Oh, just
game
like,
to now smell
damage,
like
yeah.
metal. So
Mm.
when you throw them against the wall, they make a clink noise. I like that. I like that update.
Yeah, that's
pretty
pretty
good.
cool.
So you throw like a chicken at a wall and it goes clink. I like that. That's good.
Yeah, some items aren't exactly don't have the right sound set to them yet.
Yeah. Oh, I know, right, Marks? You see that in chat, guys. Wait, a console player who doesn't want to kill the devs? Yeah, believe it or not, there's a small few here that don't beg for black plate carriers and monster trucks and have the developers do backflips for them. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking at the bunker modules. Feel like that stuff's very promising as far as from a layout perspective.
Oh, 100%.
What about you, Lemons? You play 1.19 yet?
Yeah, I have had a chance to play it. It's interesting, and I think a lot of people have said that, where there's a lot of good, like there's a lot of stuff I like, and I'm happy that they added in. But it's a rough gem, It's stuff that needs to be polished out, and I think that once we get like the first few patches come out,
Yeah.
I think it'll be like an amazing update. And a lot of people have been comparing this to like when what was it 1.14 release because it was just such a substantial update. But I am so happy that we had the chance to have this come out because it shows that the development team really does care about us and they want us to like they want the game to go somewhere. It's not just only bug fixes or anything. So I'm just glad to see
Yeah,
the game's
I
coming
mean,
somewhere and
I'd
it's
say
actually going to be what we've seen in the past. Because
yeah,
I think a lot of people after .62 came out were pretty discouraged to say the least, and they wanted, after of course Dean Hall left and a lot of his stuff that was on the roadmaps got scrapped. Well, not necessarily scrapped, but just put on the back burner. I think just a lot of people wanted that hope, that there was going to be more and that the game was going to continue because, a lot of people were skeptical that Dayz would even make it for like another 2-3 years after that, and look where we are now. So
yeah. No, the last I'd say 6 months to a year, things have been really improving. They hired a couple more devs. They've been putting out more consistent updates. They've been putting out like they've been doing their dev blog, all that stuff. Can people not hear me?
You're a little low,
oh
just a little
yeah,
soft. That's all.
here, let me get you up there. Hold on, I can turn you up on my side.
Okay. Yeah, I could turn up my side as well, but yeah, I played 1.19 for a good, I don't know, 20 to 30 hours. And made my way all the way down to the bunker. Happened to find a key card on the way in. And I went in blind. I haven't seen any I hadn't watched any of the teaser videos, anything like that. I was actually playing with my buddy Melbourne, and we just went in the two of us because the one thing we had heard was that you need two people to like completely explore it, and it was a lot of fun trying to like figure it out. And like we were hearing people came in like 10 minutes after us, and we had set a mine right on the front door. And so we were just like waiting to kind of hear if we like blow someone up or whatever. But yeah, I like it. I like
Very
it.
cheeky.
I don't. Yeah, I don't like. I don't know like whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but like they did release this update with a couple of things that were broken, and they did an intentional hacky kind of fix for it. So one of the things is you can't take wheels off of vehicles, I believe, right now. Like even if they're ruined, like so once they're ruined, the vehicle's ruined. And I imagine, and that
Can
was to fix
anybody
the
confirm
nation.
that here? Greedy Smiley.
No,
Haven't
we
tried it.
we
No.
were racing yesterday and we were pulling cars apart like nothing else.
Okay. Hmm.
Humvees, trucks, all the cars.
And the wheels, you were able to take the wheels off?
Yeah, the
taking your
wheels
wheels
off.
off?
Yeah, like I had a couple of ruined wheels from ploughing the Humvee into whatever was in my way, and easy remove on and off. Swap them from different cars. So whether
Maybe
it's not a
it's already fixed then. So yeah, so in that sense, like if it were broken and they released it broken, like I'm glad that they hit that release date, and they're purposely like giving themselves milestones, right?
Yeah.
And so
And
yeah.
one big thing too is, we've talked about this on the show before, and I think it's the fact that you can have an amazing update, and I know that this update's been in the oven for what, 3 months now? But I'd much rather have them just be straight up and say, you know what? We want to take a few more weeks, we want to take a month to be able to just finalize things, get stuff polished, and then put it out. I'd much rather have it stay in the oven longer and then have that polished result as the release rather than have something that's good, it's a good update, but still rough around the edges. What do you guys think about that?
What do you think is rough around the edges about it?
I'd say some of the stuff like a lot of people think it's the inertia, but just the player. I don't even know what you'd call it, but the system that allows the player to stay like more stuck to the ground, like that, because that's a lot of people thought that was tied to inertia, but it's its own completely different system. But I think that's a bit rough right now and needs a bit of revision because I think the threshold's too high, and I think a lot of people can agree with that because there's still times where you can be walking through and getting stuck and hung up on things. I
Yeah, that
know.
was so
Yeah, I know. I think last night, Greedy, you had that happen to you, right?
Yeah, I've been jammed up. It seems like the boxes of the actual items placed in game jam up on the character rather than I don't mean the boxes themselves, but the grid around, say, a table.
Like the collision.
Yeah, the collision is still grabbing on corners. I do find that quite a bit. Also, jumping down. Coming downstairs, I had the same old issue where you launched, but rather than it put me on the ground, it put me back. Like it launched me out, I touched the ground and then come back up the stairs. I had that issue. And coming down rocks, I don't think you can break your leg on rocks unless it's a large fall anymore. There's no skip, but you seem to sort of judder down every single angle that's on the rock. So I think that needs a bit of a polish. But I think I mean, me personally, I just get used to them throwing a release out. We been experimental for 2 weeks while they patch the release and double hotfix it.
I think they will too because I remember I played the first or second day of experimental and I was getting stuck everywhere. But by the end of it, I was only getting stuck occasionally. So I'm thinking that they're tweaking it, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And also, I find you get used to it. You sort of start to maneuver. I started maneuvering around things and knowing, okay, this box is going to catch me up, or just taking small notes of how it is. But it'd be nice and smooth once it's cleaned up. I think once all the catching stops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once again, like I was saying. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
I was gonna say it's the worst when you like jump onto an item that doesn't have like a solid box, like maybe pushed over bookshelf or something, so it has like weird geometry. So like 1 foot might get stuck in it. I don't know how it really works or whatever, but like you get stuck into it really good and you can't do shit.
Yeah, and you got to do the duck reverse, jump, spam the key 100 times.
Try to get out of there as best you can.
Oh my gosh!
Pull your head off.
You guys see who poked their head in chat?
Don Sibley.
Don Sibley. How's it going, buddy? Zagori for life. Absolutely, man.
I could turn myself up.
Yeah, I don't notice much of it. I noticed it a lot in experimental, but I don't notice it now.
Yeah, it's not too bad. But here, I've got you maxed out right now. Here, let me see if I can.
Yeah, it's not as.
Let me see what I can do here. Hold on.
I just turned mine up a little bit on my end, so maybe that'll be better.
There's something too where when you go to raise your weapon, like your hands just stay down and you kind of like just slide backwards. Just a bunch of little things like that.
Every single one of my last deaths is from that.
Yeah, it's horrific because. I mean, when do you need to do that when you got people coming at you?
Yep.
Yeah, especially like a whole if you got a couple of zombies on you, can't get your arms up.
Oh, Mark's on your dad. Sorry, I didn't know that. My sympathies, Don. You have my very sincere sympathies.
Greedy Boy in the chat said, I heard Greedy Peasant's name is a Dom sub thing. He's an RP, or he's RP, he RP's a peasant submitting to his pain lords.
Wouldn't be a bad thing too.
But yeah, no, I think, like I was saying before, there's a lot of good and a lot of bad at the update. There's a lot of stuff that was brought through, and I think that once we have, like we were saying, once we have those patches come out and they get rolled out, I think that all around it's going to be an amazing update, and the features on paper are amazing. Like the bunker, I love it. You know, the whole punch card system, they execute it like perfectly. You know, like having the small
It's,
like mini games or puzzles in there.
Mhm.
I just love that. You know.
It's so cool, especially like like you just said, like with the water lowering and raising, and like having just a little bit of a system that you have to figure out to like be able to like do it. And I feel like if they're able to expand on that and do more, like that really felt like something that Daisy was missing, like a real end game type of zone kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, because I think it's one of the biggest things that the game missed. You know, because we've always had.
Oh, missed.
Yeah, well, it's a
Old
big missed
school.
opportunity, you know, and I think that if anyone remembers, what was it, was it before 0.62 when the Commence had the bunkers, like the, well, quote unquote bunkers, like the underground areas?
I don't remember that.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
that's before my time.
And it was never in console.
Yeah. Here, how about anyone in chat know this? Because I know, I think it was somewhere
Ancient
around.
talk.
Yeah. Oh, 0.60. Thank you, Sauerkraut. But yeah, there used to be 3 bunkers that were in, yeah, just a pretty hole in the ground, exactly. But we used to have 3 quote unquote bunkers in the Kamensk area, and they weren't real bunkers, like it was just like objects. But I love just what they did now with Livonia and taking stuff like this, because it adds a whole new level of environmental interaction. And
Yeah,
thinking
definitely.
back, it's something they said they'd add, because if we go back to like the very first roadmap that they were talking about with everything coming this year, like when they did the year at a glance, they had literally said that they were going to be looking into adding more like environmental interactions or like interactable environmental stuff. So very interesting that now we have stuff like the bunker, you know. So I think a lot of people when that first came out didn't even think about the bunker, you know. Because if I
Yeah.
find if I can find it here, I'll throw it up. But let's see.
It's actually even. Go ahead, Goblin.
Oh, sorry. I would say from a console perspective in particular, it's terrific to have like something new, a destination to look forward to. You know, like we've gotten an item here, or when they added the trucks a while back, you know, like we've gotten things to collect or whatever. But my experience and Smiley and Greedy were there. We had a whole troop of people that we just met, and you know, we were running 10 deep, and we're just like to the bunker, you know, and we made friends and we're hoofing it down there on Livonia. You know what I mean? There was a point where a bear came after us, and it was like a circle of people. This poor bear just got like ripped apart. But we were all like, "Yeah, we're gonna have food. We're gonna make it." You know. I mean, it wasn't until we got like, I don't know, we were pretty damn close to that bunker before people started killing each other, purposely or on accident. And the group got like split up. This group got split up and everything.
Tell them what happened.
No. That was purely. I was more esteemed about the team member who split off and hid in the bush, but that's besides the point.
Do you guys have the clips from that? Because that was last night, right, when that happened, or was it either the last night or the night before? But do you guys have any clips from the bear attack?
Who was streaming that?
Smiley was.
You were streaming, Smiley.
Yeah, you'd have to click it in your VOD.
I think Trip was too. Yeah, I'd have to click it through the VOD. But it was a great run. It was awesome. It was just like Goblin said, there was a handful of us that already knew each other from the console cult, and then we just picked up some randoms along the way, and then we lost one along the way. He died. But like Greedy coined it, it was like trying to herd stray cats, trying to get everyone to keep going and stick together. But yeah, we had some funny moments along the way, and that's the thing. See, like you said, it now for console, it gives us like another destination to, you know, all have this like to make a journey to, and that's the fun part, is the journey. you know, once you get there, even though we didn't actually make it inside the bunker, the journey itself was totally worth it. It was so good. So many laughs. We laughed so hard. It was good.
Yeah, it was great. It drove a lot of camaraderie, you know, because we had an objective. Like it's something that's been lacking for a good while, and it's encouraging
exactly.
to seeing that they can do this, you know. And I'm looking at the modules from like a server layout perspective. I'm like, oh, well, if they can add stuff like this, then they can probably add other things that you could imagine, you know. So it makes you excited for what else might be to come.
Now then, on that note, Goblin, I know you do a lot of stuff when it comes to builds, you know, and creating stuff and modding on the console side of things. With the release of the bunker and all the underground assets, what have you been able to do so far in your experimentation, and what do you have on the horizon, if anything?
Well, I'll confess that I've kind of been waiting for the actual release before I invested too much time. One, to see just how things were behaving, in particular with the vehicles. You know, because I have like my like downhill race server and that, but I wanted to see how everything was meshing and then test it on an actual live console server before I put in the time to release things. But I will say I've been playing with the bunker modules, and I feel like with what they've released there, you'll be seeing. I mean, I'm certainly gonna work on one, but you're gonna have servers that consist entirely of bunker modules and nothing else.
You'll really interesting, you know, like the indoor PvP servers, you know, remember those?
Well, that's, you know, I have my death row set up where you spawn in the prison cells, and that same concept can be applied to the bunker modules. So I can have people spawn in the bunker and they'll never leave. You know what I mean? So, and you can just string those things together, and just have a tunnel server. I haven't played with the light and dark stuff yet. I don't, so I'm not sure how to integrate that, but anyway.
That's actually what I was just gonna ask, was how the lighting and the special features, because there's scripting involved in that sense of like when you go down into the bunker,
JSON file,
turns lights on.
and so you can specify points, like you can specify where the entrance would be. And I know Scale Speeder, I can throw this in chat. Scale Speeder did an amazing tutorial explaining what it is, how to use it, and all that good stuff. But
that's for the door, right?
What's that?
That's for the door?
No, it's for the actual the lighting, like how things get darker, like when you go into the bunker.
Okay.
Because it's actually all available within a JSON file, and you can specify it to any location. So if you really wanted to, you can make it so the entire map is just pitch black. You know, if you wanted to do like a Halloween event or something like that, and just had it like Twilight Zone type thing, you know.
It's like the area effect, isn't it? Because isn't it basically like a filter on the player's vision? 'Cause like when you walk into the dark space, it's just like it changes your vision. It's not dark from a distance, I don't think.
No, it's only once you get into the zone.
Yeah.
So when you can you put in that like water thing, like, and make it all work as well on console?
You can. Yeah.
I was just playing with that. That thing is really cool. The only thing I noticed in editor, when you spawn it in, the water like spawns in with it, but then if you move the structure, the water stays where it is. Yeah. So I haven't worked out how to get it to travel with the object. I mean, as a JSON on the actual console server, I'm sure the water will be where it needs to be, but for testing purposes, but that thing is kind of inspiring in and of itself. To have, it's just been, I mean, the amount of time that we pour into playing this game, any minor, and especially on console where we don't have the mods and that, any incremental change is kind of exciting. So to see this much new stuff all at once it's almost kind of hard to digest it all.
100%, you know, and I find it so crazy, because I think for the longest time console was very limited with the tools and assets we had to use and utilize. And with these past few updates, like 117 to 119, they've just given us so much stuff to use And it's just allowed so many people, including you, you know, and Teabag and all those other people to actually express themselves and use their creativity to create environments that just weren't possible before, you know. And I think stuff like that is just like amazing because we now have the tools and we now have the chance to be able to do stuff that we may not have had the opportunity to do, you know, prior. And I think that alone's amazing. You know, it's like the thing I was showcasing earlier. What was it? It was either yesterday or the day before, but it was my dynamic lighting mod for console. And what I was able to do is utilize the lighting emitters, like the light emitters from the objects or the NPC, like the the mummy. And I was able to have that light be inside the light posts across Shinora's to give off
I thought
the
those light
effect
posts
that,
looked suspicious.
yeah, to give off
Yeah,
the effect that there was actually like a
that
lightning
looked
emitted from it.
really good, Lemons.
Thank you. And the really cool thing about it is I'm not sure if it was just a luck thing, but with the mummy light at least, when it becomes daytime, it'll actually kind of like flicker away and turn off, so it looks like it's a light-based sensor, like it's an actual like street light, you know. If I can find
That's
a
cool.
example here, I'll throw this up on the stream because I do have like a short GIF. Sorry, Greedy, this is going right on top of you.
That's fine.
All right, let's get this dragged in here. So yeah, this right here, this is the example of it. Let me get this below the chat box. There we go.
Oh wow. Is
So you
that
can see
like
as the
nighttime activated, or it's just not visible in
it's
the
just not
light?
visible during the day. So at nighttime,
Yeah.
it just lights right up and it gives off such an amazing effect.
Very
So
cool.
it looks like it's just being triggered by like nighttime, you know. And this is just one of the many things you can do because anything that has a light source, it doesn't scale with the object. So all you have to do is scale the object or the model to be like 0, or like so it's just, you just can't see it. But the light source
So
still stays there.
you go and use like a lantern or something?
So what? You got a little mummy in that light globe.
Yep,
Yeah.
and every single
Yeah.
one of them is a little mummy. Yep.
Finally, a use for those indestructible bastards.
Absolutely.
It's a monster in my pocket.
Yeah.
That's it. And big notes to that mummy too, because it's a massive game changer for console. We finally have
I
something
love the
stronger than the standard.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
it
Are you
looks
saying
amazing too.
are you telling me I can put a miniature smoking helicopter into my thermometer to get like a smoking vape?
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
Make like a little Monopoly game board.
Or we could
Well, that'd be,
take the test tubes from the lab and put the heli smoke in it, so that's like a bong.
That'd be particles though, not lighting. Would those not shrink as well? Like how would that work?
You could scale the helicopter down because you can scale objects now, so you could scale the helicopter down to like
what he's saying, though,
minuscule.
Goblin, is because because the model's being scaled, the emitters themselves don't, which means the smoke would be the same size.
I know.
That's quite the rip.
So you walk in and the whole room is just full of smoke. You walk into a big bong
I
den.
have to ask, Goblin, what are you packing your bowls, man, if you're getting stuff like that? Like, gee.
Oh, you just have to put magnesium shavings in there.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like you guys are going to have heaps of fun. That's the thing I'm excited about, is seeing like, what all the community servers come up with. I've been bugging Goblin, like even said when he released the Livonia server the other day. He's like, "Oh, am I just tweaking a couple of things?" I'm like, can you just put one massive giant Pepsi can in there?
Hold on, guys.
Random.
Adult
like,
dating site is coming back again. They do not miss a beat.
But Tinder hot, straight in.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you very much, Marks. As you were saying, Smiley.
Yeah, no, I just thought it'd be cool. You'd be walking down like completely vanilla server, and then you're walking down the street, and then in the middle of the street there's this giant Pepsi can. I just want to see a giant Pepsi can in there. You won't do it
Now,
there.
hear me out. You know what would be an awesome concept? Imagine just making a giant house and putting the players in it. Like you're a bunch of little mice fighting in just a giant house because the collisions and the hitboxes, I believe, scale with the object itself. So you could just make a giant house and have like a home PvP where it's like you guys are all tiny, you have a massive house, you know, and it's probably stuff that's been experimented with before on PC, but for console, this is huge, you know, because it's ideas like this that people like go crazy about, you know. I mean, I know when the indoor PvP first got released, everyone was losing their minds about that. And if you guys don't know what PvP or indoor PvP was, this was a long, long time ago. Back when if you wanted to spawn in buildings on console, we didn't have like the Dayz editor loader. We had to go into our events and create an event for each object that we wanted to spawn in, and then have it get called into the environment via an event. And it was a pain in the ass. I'll tell you that, because every restart, the event would despawn and would have to respawn again, and it was just, oh, it was a headache. It was
It was
such
good
a
times.
such a headache.
It was ahead of its time.
But
Fucking
yeah, no,
nightmare.
honestly though, just stuff like that, it changed the game. Back then when that first got released, everyone was loving, everyone was using it, everyone wanted to do stuff like that, and you can say the same thing now. Because the possibilities are limitless. You could do so many things with like the object scaling, the new underground assets, you name it.
It always amazes me how well or how much console devs are able to do with limited resources that they have.
Yeah, that's the name of the game, right? It's like that that challenge. Like until we got the JSON approach, it was like, okay, our Lego set has 200 objects in it, and every now and then someone would just crack something and bring out something totally fresh, but using like those limited number of tools that are available. It just like felt like magic. Don broke a few things that he had co-opted on, and it just blew everybody's mind. We're like, holy crap, you can do that, and then everybody spins off of that, and then we figure out new things.
Yep.
So they've added so much stuff in the last year or so. Like, I don't think we've even figured out half of a quarter of the stuff that we could possibly do with it.
All it takes is creativity.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it
like
back to the whole thing that happened
with making
with
snow.
the street lights. Oh yeah, the snow. Oh my gosh, when the snow happened and we were all using like the garden plots. That was it.
Didn't you scale the snow, Lemons?
Did
you try scaling
recently? But the only issue is the garden plot has it's stupid. Like the collisions on it are terrible.
So it's kind of garbage when you scale it up.
Yeah, so be clipping through the actual garden plot itself, and it didn't look good, because that was one of the first things I tried, because the biggest issue with the quote unquote like faux snow on console was that after you put like a few thousand of those in, you could see the performance drop, and Zagoria used to have a ton of those.
I think it was 164 was the limit or something like that for how many garden plots you could put in.
Yeah, because when I was testing around with that stuff, I had covered Black Mountain with it, and I think there was around 4,200, and the performance was terrible. It was disgusting.
Yeah, no doubt.
Greedy, you mentioned with emotional damage, you're going to change so we can change temperatures, and you said so now we can make it so it's extremely hot. Is that right?
Yeah, so we're going to pump the temperature at one stage. I've been doing some testing in the event server, but I think we can get it up to about 36 degrees in the JSON file before you start sweating your balls off. You can't even be in a car too long; it starts to damage you.
So you have to go for a swim, cool off.
Go for a swim, strip off, roll around the buff. That's it, just bag and shoes only.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, shoot. You might even want to just be fully clothed and wet. I wonder if that drops your temp more than being like not having anything on.
That's true.
Yeah, whether it would register your clothes being wet would cool your temperature.
But you'll dry really fast though, because remember back when the meat, when you cook the meat, it wouldn't go down in temp. You could just stick meat like in all your pockets and crevices and swim around without getting wet.
Yep. A lot of people used to. I know Trip was telling me he used to cook worms when he used to be able to do it and use them as heat packs.
Gross. That Trip's a real sicko, you know.
Yeah, we've heard that.
Sticking hot worms in his pockets.
Disgusting. God damn it.
Yeah,
Too bad he couldn't have been on here to tell us about it.
That's it.
Tell us all about it.
I'm sure he'd tell us a great story about worms.
About cooking the
Running
worms.
About cooking the worms.
I think
One
thing,
time.
though, in general. Yeah, I think in general, though, going back to the whole thing about the update, I think we can all agree here that the stuff they added in was amazing, but I think we can also agree that day one launch on console was a nightmare.
Oh,
That was.
I'm glad it was. It hit when like Australian time. It was like all happened in the at like in the middle of the night. So I just woke up and went. They went, oh, it fixed in a minute, and I'm like, okay, sweet. So it was only really an hour delay for me. Like I was
Yeah,
like,
well-
they fixed it in an hour. Good on them.
I'm on
But,
holidays for work, so I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna stay up as soon as it launches. I'm gonna be on it. First minute on there, massive freshie rush. I think I got to about the post where they said, "We haven't got an expected time, but we'll let you know." I'm like, well, it's time for bed.
I was kind of
yeah.
entertained by like the outrage personally. Like
no, yeah.
right off the
sure
bat, one of the posts on Twitter, yeah, right off the bat, the first response is like, "You're crushing my stream audience" or something. It's like some guy who probably has like 100 followers on Twitch or something. He's like, "What are you doing to me? This is ruining my streaming career" or something. It's like, Jesus, dude, like nobody's like jumping to come follow you now. Like that's not a good look. Popping up on like the Dayz Twitter, complaining like that, like.
Yeah, a lot of the other streamers that I saw, the regular, they were pretty cool because they were just either just were sitting in like Don. He was just sitting in the menu. It became like a just chatting, which was cool. You know what I mean? So I can't see how that would
Sure.
affect him. Or
Yeah.
play another game in the meantime. A few others were playing the new Overwatch and stuff, so that was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
They're also
But,
going to experimental too.
Yeah.
No, I think experimental was down too, wasn't it? I thought experimental was down too.
No, the Running Man was running experimental. There was a few of them running experimental.
Oh, right. But yeah, I didn't. I mean, for me, yeah, it was a little bit late for me to bring up my stream. It didn't bother me though because I just thought, oh well, this is good because I get to have a little poke around, off stream and do my thing and figure out what it's all about before I load up the
Mhm.
stream anyway. So yeah, wasn't a major issue.
Despite all
I
that,
could
they
see
did
how-
get it fixed
yeah.
pretty quickly.
Yeah,
That's true.
totally.
Very true, because I know, like you guys were saying, it was horrible. There were so many people that were like on Twitter. Like I remember, I think their first tweet where they said it was they didn't have the ETA. It got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments, and like they got blown up. And my heart goes out to Scotty, who's the PR manager, like PR and marketing with Bohemian Dayz, because the manner you have to keep dealing with all that kind of stuff is just like it's a different level, And I
Yeah.
commend to anybody in marketing because it's a absolute hellhole, just imagine every update or hotfix having people yell at you, be like, "Add black plate carriers, no, give me monster trucks." Like, where's the ray gun? Yeah.
No, yeah, I can only imagine. Like, I add in a couple buildings, and my players are like, "Take this shit out! I'm getting all this lag." So, it's on the very small scale. You've got a high percentage that are just instant rage. So it's got to be rough as heck.
People struggle with change.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing because a lot of people, like, this update was just so huge and there were so many features in it, and I think a lot of people weren't ready for some of them, one of those being the inertia overhaul. That was just such a big change because everyone for the longest time had been so used to what it was like, pre 119, you know, and especially even back like going back to like 0.62 days, inertia was way different back then as well. And slowly but surely, no pun intended, over the past few updates, we have started to slow things down a bit with players, and the speed has gotten like a lot slower than what it used to be. Like you could sprint way faster back a few years, but
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that inertia one too is kind of like, who asked for that? Like that's where it can be like more frustrating, I think, is when they're implementing something and you're kind of like scratching your head as to where it's coming from or why it's necessary, especially when it's not ready. So if
it was
we're having
mostly
all these glitches, yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So I think it was mostly to do with the gunplay and the way people would run around. So like the previous update where they nerfed leaning, walking and leaning, whatever.
Sure.
Running and leaning was it? And so like they didn't like the way people are playing the game like COD kind of thing, you know? So they're trying to reduce
Right.
like that zigzagging and like the unrealistic type of gunplay.
just keep it a
Right,
bit
which
more
is
down to earth, you know,
understandable,
anchored, you know.
but maybe that type of change is what Lemons is talking about. Maybe that's when to keep it in the oven a little longer until it's like actually ready. Because now we have all these other issues, like with the where we're getting stuck on the objects and combat's messed up and things like that. So what's worse, to
Dude,
have
it
people
wasn't-
zigzagging like COD, or now you have all these other bugs introduced?
But I'm not sure that getting stuck on things is to do with the inertia, is it?
No, I believe that's a different system actually, Goblin.
Yeah,
The inertia
yeah.
system's its own thing. It's just the thing where
Mm.
like I was saying earlier, a lot of people think that the inertia and the geometry, I don't even know what you call it, the geometry handler, you know, are two of the same thing, but they're completely different, like two completely different systems. And
Mm.
if they could get rid of all that stuff and we'd still have the inertia, but I think that definitely needed to stay in the oven a bit longer because it was just like you couldn't even, you know, you couldn't even walk through certain areas. Like the castle would be terrible because you'd be stuck on like the walls in the castle and stuff like that. And they did they did fix it, which is so good because it was such a buggy mess at one point. But that's the thing, you know, we go full circle, and a lot of people neglect the fact that although it may be not in the best state as it is right now, it always comes back around, you know, whether it be next hotfix,
Yeah.
you know, the hotfix after, it usually always comes back to a playable state and a state that's enjoyable.
Yeah,
So
correct.
Yeah. Well, and like is pointed out in the chat there, we can disable the inertia changes as well.
that's it, 100%.
Yeah,
You know,
if
if
you
you
want
want
to.
to change it, or like if you want to disable it, or even modify it to your own liking, you know, they've given us the option to do that. And I think that's like the amazing thing with the developers these past few updates is that they've been giving us like on PC and console full capabilities to customize and build what we want to see in a server. You know, it goes back to their whole saying of building your own story and giving us the chance to be able to go through and make and sculpt what our optimal experience is on Dayz. I think that's amazing, and I totally support that because all these small things, you know, it may be small. Like some people might be like, oh, you know, changing temperature isn't a big thing, or scaling objects may not be a big thing, you know, or stuff like that. But when you think outside the box and when you utilize them to the best of their ability, the sky's the limit, you know, and you can create some insane things, you know.
Yeah, it just requires a demonstration, and then people see it for what it is. And I'm not saying like I'm not impatient for the new stuff to work. It's more like maybe some elements, if we're talking about what could be better, maybe sometimes things could just be matured a little more before they get rolled out.
Yeah, 100%. And I do agree with Marks in the chat. He said people just have no patience anymore, and everyone wants everything working now, not later. I think a lot of people do want that, and they just want the instant gratification of having the update get released, and they want it to just be like, oh, it's out, it's good, let's play, you know. And a lot of people just don't realize all the work and effort that goes into creating these updates, because this was one of the hardest updates they had to do, because it wasn't just Dayz. They had to work internally with the Infusion team to port the vehicle physics, work on a lot of the new stuff and features that got put in, and it was just it was a lot of work, you know, and a lot of people just are like
No doubt.
they take it for granted, you know.
I think it went far better than the last car update. If anyone was around for that, and the cars were super light, then they went super heavy.
Oh, yeah, I was depressed that first day, but then it came back and they were like 5 times better than before.
That's
You know
correct.
what I always say though, you know, go back a few updates. Back when I remember when you said go over train tracks, you know, and I always remind people about that. We can go back there if you want, you know. We can go back to that that time. But no, I think
and maybe that's also some of it because Dayz went through a stage where we got down to, I think it was like 3,000 players playing it, and then they started building it up and bringing it back. A lot of
Bueller, hello, anyone there?
Hello? Oh no, I just dipped out.
Yeah, something weird
happened.
It was odd.
As you're saying, yeah.
Were you buffering a little bit?
Apparently. Yeah, go on.
I don't know. Where do we get to? What do we miss out on?
We got to about when we were talking about like the last update, you know, and we were talking about like the train tracks and stuff, and how it's just how much better it is now.
Yeah, as I said, if those players that are returning, or that lower player base, and those new players that are coming in and seeing you know, COD, GTA, and see the mechanics working in even PUBG. I know Smiley's a big fan of the cars and PUBG.
Oh, the cars, yeah. I'd love the cars on Dayz to run like PUBG. Holy shit.
And there's a lot of those full working games and those games that are complete and built, and then new players are coming to Dayz, seeing what we see in it through, you know, our TikToks, our videos, seeing that, you know, nobody shows off really the bad stuff. A lot of people highlight the good stuff. So they come into the game and they see all these bugs, and I think that's where a lot of the outcries come from.
100%.
Yeah, true.
And it's something that's gonna come in timing, because I think as we move towards the future, it's only gonna get better. 100%. It's only gonna improve, and regardless of what direction they choose to take Dayz, I'm still gonna 100%, you know, give it my love and back it, you know, and it's gonna be one of those things I'm really interested to see, you know, because if they're still working on it 5 years down the road, you know, 10 years down the road, God forbid, where do you think it'll be? You know, like, it's stuff like that that's just crazy, you know?
Definitely. Noah asking in chat, what can you do with the points? You can enter a raffle to win a Livonia DLC code courtesy of the Dayz team.
Geez, Noah, you've become famous, mate. My latest TikTok, it's only been up for less than 24 hours, and you've hit like 10,000 views. Congrats.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. They love him. They absolutely love it. Love Noah. Yeah, he's one of our prominent members of the console cult, Noah. And yeah, he's great value. It's a good time. It's a good time to have a run with. Everyone knows Noah.
Now, one thing that I've been, you know, kind of thinking about, and one thing that I think you guys can agree with as well, with the release 119, and of course the bug fixes and the stability updates, when you guys were playing like your event last night, and you guys were in game enjoying 119 and playing on servers, what were your first impressions? You know, or I guess in that time, what were your impressions?
You mean like the items, like the changes, that
Just in
sort of
general,
thing,
you know, like when you guys
all
were
around?
when you guys were
in
doing
general?
just all around, yeah, all around.
Yeah, I mean, I was having a chat to Goblin about this, and maybe I'm going to use Greedy's latest server, Emotional Damage, as uh, Greedy has a new server, and it's hardcore, and it's right. It brings you right back down to the Daisy basics of survival.
Yeah.
And I think even though, I mean, these things are great. I love, like the little things like the eye patch. Great. I loved in the previous update how we can use rags and make wraps. It's like they're just little things, but they're cute and they're fun to mess with and that. But they can add in as much as even with like with community servers, like you were saying. I mean, we can shrink things, make things bigger. We could add in all these super duper things and crazy things, but at the end of the day, people will play with these things, but we always come back to what we really love about Daisy, and that is the survival aspect and the interactions we have on there with people. I reckon that's the core of Daisy, regardless of how you pretty it up or make things. Like I said, these are fun things. These are fun things, but at the end of the day, I think that's what Daisy is all about. Well, for me anyway, I still will run around and just want to meet people and have those interactions. Will I be able to get to A to B and survive? And how am I going to do that? And so for me, yep, I love the update. I love the little items, but in general, that's the reason why I play DayZ anyway, is purely for the people and yeah, for the basic survival aspect. I think we'll always come back to that anyway.
Absolutely. What about you, Greedy? Do you have anything to add to that, or? Oh no, is my thing lagging again? Uh-oh. Oh, hello? Hello, hello? Potentially. Okay, so I think you
Yeah, we're
guys
Yeah,
all
I
going.
hear
can
you.
Yeah.
hear me. Oh, there we go.
There we
Okay,
go.
there we go. There we go. All right. That was weird. Oh, we there? Okay, good.
Yeah,
So
we're
yeah, as I
good.
was saying,
We're good.
Greedy, do you have anything you want to add to that? Like, could you agree with what Smiley's saying, or is there anything else you think you enjoyed a lot about, like, or what you thought a lot about in general about the new update?
I think with the Vault and the Livonia system and the new map going in, it's probably going to bring a fresh new breath to Livonia. I mean, myself when we were trekking down to the Vault, I was pulling up at certain places down the bottom, and sure, it was just two little wrecks and a wood pile and maybe a cart, but it was like, hey, this is new because I spent a lot of my time. I ventured into the community servers into Livonia when it first came out, and I had my first map on there, and I spent a lot of time on Livonia. It's one of my favorite maps, and just the amount of detail in the map of just the little things that they've done to bring it like Chinoris is. It's no longer a map. It's like you can see the living world, especially heading out to the bunker. There was a few of the little side streets, and there was just like little log encampments and places where you could see industry had been, but because of the apocalypse had obviously left and people had gone, but it was still the remnants. The quarry. If you haven't been down to the quarry, go see the quarry. That's really amazing. I really like that quarry. I'm still sus on the blue hue of the water. But yeah,
The hue.
yeah,
good.
it's. I don't know. There's something fishy about that water.
Nah, it's so nice. It's so
You
much
can't let
nicer.
it go, Katie Greedy. You just can't let it go.
I can't let it go. I can't let it go. But no, I mean that was. I mean, a lot of people ran around and went to the vault. I went to the quarry first.
I went to the quarry.
Because
Moist you.
So badass.
It is absolutely gorgeous. And I mean, I went there and I was standing on top, and I mean, down the bottom where the water was, there was a bear. And I'm like, you bastard, you're not going to let me down there. So there I was. I only had an MK2, so I was just shooting at this bear to try and scare him away because he didn't know where I was. And no, I think it'd be a good stage for
Trying to scare away a bear with a 22.
Yeah, he didn't know I was there, but I was putting little 22 bullets into it, and he ended up disappearing because he couldn't locate where I was, which allowed me to go down there. And I'm sitting there, pissed him off, and he disappeared. He got me later. Let's just say that he got me later. But no, that was one of the biggest things. I'd like to see maybe Chinoris have some big areas like that, and I can't wait to see the death matches that roll out of that. And maybe see what the RPers add to
servers like
the lore of what that's about.
Servers like Role Players Oasis, man, are gonna thrive this update. All the stuff they can achieve, all the things they can put into the game, is gonna be a game changer. I can't wait to see them add like bunkers and stuff like that, because shout out to Role Players Oasis, they have been like crazy these past few updates with the features they've been adding. Greedy has been streaming on their servers, and I know for sure he can vouch for the fact that they've been doing a kick-ass job utilizing all the features on console.
100%. That they I mean, Screwless, he's a lot with the effects. He's the server that did Short-Sighted. He's the owner, that did Short-Sighted. I mean, the amount of effects he does. If in my server itself, the weather that goes on, that's from him. I said to him, make me the worst weather that you could possibly make. And it's hurricane winds that swing round of torrential rain consistently. I'm really looking forward to what they produce. The other thing is the Vault also gives console an unrateable trader. There's no way to get in there, but it's now servers can also use that vault to lock their trader away and use that as a trader, having the key card for their members to open and close and service members. And I'm not sure if even, because we've got a problem with swimmers, people going under the map, I'm not sure if even the swimmers would be able to pop up inside of it.
That was patched this up.
So, yeah, so that's going to be a massive advantage to servers that have traders in it, because even if you just port the actual vault in and just have it sitting there as is in its square ugliness that it currently is, it's still unrateable. You can have a trader.
That's actually a cool idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even just like a safe zone in general, that just the concept seems really cool. And
yeah, the Fallout concept.
Yeah, and I know for some people it might be hard. I know a lot of people have been struggling to find like a good place to put stuff on Chinoris, because of course there isn't like a proper spot meant for bunkers, but people have been making it work, and I think that there's something that's going to come out eventually, and people are going to find some way to work around. Or honestly, if they just like cover just a giant like portion of the like countryside with a bunker and have players just spawn through that, it's going to be something like that, And I think as more people realize what they have and more people just understand the tools, amazing things are going to be coming out. Absolutely. I can't wait to see the streams you'll be doing to Greedy, like doing the server spotlights. It's going to be crazy.
I am absolutely. I'm keen for it. I'm keen for it. I've given my owners a week to do their thing and to implement the code, and then we're straight back into it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to, getting open access to these vaults where the vault is no longer what it is. It's just a doorway that leads into a secure location that's decked out to a massive, either a safe zone or a trader, or yeah, I'm super excited. Like even myself, I've not seen past. I've seen the doors open. I've seen them skip round the side, and I've seen that I got up to the splitway, and that's as far as I've seen in the vault. So I haven't even actually explored it myself. So I find that sort of thing is what gets me going with Dayz and what I do with streaming. Walking into a server and seeing things like absolutely different. Chinoris and Zagoria, not to float Lemon's boat, but yeah, that's a whole different world. That blew me out of the water.
Oh, Zagori is cool.
Yeah,
Zagori is way
100%.
cool.
Gonna make me
Different
blush,
vibe on
guys.
there. You've done
Oh,
honestly, you've done awesome on there, Lemons.
Thank you.
yeah.
It's
But
really
yeah,
cool.
that, it just supports the fact and showcases, because one of the biggest things I wanted to do with Zagori was show people what can be done and serve as kind of like a tech demo on console to show, there's so many things, so many possibilities on what people can do, and it's just grabbing by the reins and actually doing it because the possibilities are limitless. There's so many things. Even now, when I just showed off the dynamic lights, like the lighting systems, that alone could have such a huge impact on servers. Because I know everyone here on console remembers the days of using pumpkins and putting those in the lights. I know Don Sibley made his
They're
tutorial.
still getting used. They're still
Yep,
getting
still
used.
getting used. Yep.
Legacy is still continuing, Don.
But I find it so crazy. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'd love to see Don do a new video, an updated video with the new lights. God forbid he comes back. God bless his heart. But it would be really cool to get these new things out there and be able to get in the hands of the server owners, because I've always said I don't want to be the only person doing this stuff. I want to be able to give this stuff out and make it public so that people can grab from it and use it and make it their own and build more, because there's just, I can only make so many servers, especially like money-wise on console, and the whole Nitrado thing. You can only have so many servers open. But just having that out there means anybody can just pick it up, It's like how some of Don Sibley's like few-year-old videos are still being used. People still use it as a resource, and it's empowering, it's empowering the people today, the console developers, and it's allowing them to make everything, and like Mark is saying in chat, Asmundion's map, Chernarus Light is gonna be crazy. I am really looking forward to it. For those who don't know, Chernarus Light is a expansion that's going to be coming out to PC and console. And it's going to be a smaller version of Chernarus, but just completely redone from the bottom up.
Really?
So brand new areas. Yeah, actually, let me see if I can find any pictures of it. We can throw it up on the stream.
Wait, on console, like another separate map for console.
It's going to be based out of Chernarus, so kind of similar to what the same concept as Zagori, where it's still using the same terrain, but it's built off of it. But they're going to be using a smaller portion of Chernarus, not doing the full map, and then they're going to be able to focus more on the quality of the areas, because quality versus quantity, of course, and because yes, it is Marks. I think they're using. I don't think they're using the entire map. I believe they're only using like a portion. And
yeah, they're gonna block. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like DMZ smiling.
Oh, okay.
Where they're basically going to turn off big segments of the map. I imagine they'll probably barricade it somehow so it looks kind of more organic.
Yeah, they've been working on doing what is it? They've been working on doing these giant quarantine walls that are going to surround the areas.
Mm-hmm.
And I know on PC they were working with Dumkra to create something. So I wonder how they're going to be pouring that over to console. But I actually haven't seen that many updates from it, but I'd love to see it come out because I know Greedy, you're gonna love it. And the best part about
that sounds cool.
is it won't be a server,
Yeah, it sounds
but it will actually be an open source mod that anybody can download and put onto their server. So
very nice. You can just open up a server, chuck it on, and roll it.
Absolutely. So there you go.
Cool.
And that's just things like that, are just amazing because go back a year, 2 years ago, we were still thinking about we weren't even thinking about spawning in buildings, we were still at the point of oh, let's, we can change guns, we can spawn guns, that was huge for us back then. And
big news, massive news.
Exactly, and like I said, it keeps going full circle, a year from now, 2 years from now, what's going to be the next big thing, where it'll be oh, we can delete objects now, and remove parts of the map and do more, because slowly but surely, I think we can all agree here that we've all been getting more and more freedom of what we can do, and it's amazing to see because even 2 updates ago we couldn't do half the stuff we can do now, and it's just, I find it crazy. I know Iceblade, he was saying earlier just how limited the tools are on console, and the fact that we're able to still triumph over those adversities, and those like roadblocks to create experiences and create new environments for players to play in. It's amazing, and I think what's really beautiful about the whole thing is we still have an amazing community, and I know about, like, we always joke around on the podcast about like the community and stuff like that, but honestly, I think we've got some amazing peeps, in the console community. We got a lot of good streamers, a lot of good content creators, and a lot of people that are keeping everybody together. I mean, even without you guys here, you 3, I think console will be a lot different because you guys, I'd say, arguably, share a very big impact on the community, and you guys have helped just everything grow so much. So, props to you guys.
Aw,
Appreciate it.
that's great. Yeah.
We
That's
do it
very
for the
sweet.
love.
We do it for the love.
That's
Definitely
it.
not
We
the
do
money.
it for the love.
I got into it. I'll admit, I got into it out of spite.
Yeah.
Yeah, because on one of Greedy's old servers,
That's it.
Risk, everybody was dumping on us players who like to hang out and kill everyone at the prison where the spawn was. So hence that was the genesis of Prison Riot. I was like, fine, I'm just gonna make my own prison server, and that was the beginning. That was the beginning, pretty much for me, of getting into it. And I think the next like inspiration that hit was when Don put out the video with the explosions. And he had the explosions. I think it was around Zelenogorsk. He had them popping out, and myself and a couple other people in Greedy's Discord community took it on ourselves to try to turn that into like carpet bombing, and so that was very gratifying to work with. And then again, he cracked it again when he put out the thing about the stores, the fully stocked stores, and I believe it was using the area effect file that was for gas and lighting and so on, but spawning in the buildings.
That's right, because I remember there was a short period of time between 117 and 118 when we were using the area effects to actually spawn in like gas pumps and stuff.
Yeah, everything.
Ballshot was doing tutorials for stuff like that. And I think that was like our own kind of janky version of what we have now, but it's so nice,
Well, that was Greedy will remember. I put that Electro Tower in, where you could go up several stories of. I stacked this industrial tower way up, and you could jump off into a pond. So it was just like a little thrill, But that was using the area effect.
Yep. And we had to restart it a few times because sometimes the buildings wouldn't quite marry up and make obscene gestures in the sky. But eventually, after a few restarts, it would line itself up so you could climb all the way up. But that was revolutionary.
It did look like a giant sex toy occasionally. Boydie says, we'll always be council plebs.
Yeah.
We love you, though.
True pleb pride.
But yeah, I do remember when that grenade explosion kicked in and the roll-on effect in the Discord. It started with one explosion, and then it started with, "Hey, can we?" And I think it was between you, Freeman, and somebody else. Between you 3 together were just sort of. It started with you got it to the point where players were getting tracked like it was a smart bomb. He got it to the point where it was carpet bombing like 15 grenade explosions simultaneously, and then 3 wide. And somebody else was getting it where they were just scatter bombing.
Yeah.
So that was probably one of the things that really amazed me and dug me right into what I do. Is it was watching that progression of you guys sort of bouncing off each other, and we made something that went across multiple
Yeah.
servers.
Well, and that was when Don stopped in to your Discord too, because I sent him a video of what we'd been up to, and he was keen on that. And yeah, that forum that you provided helped a lot of us advance some things on the console side, where we run into these roadblocks, and it's really difficult sometimes to get past them. But you get enough like OCD people grinding away on it all hours of the night, they'll come up with something.
That's it.
But even to bring it full circle, Screw Loose and Role Players Oasis, he just put out something called Dayz, and it's like a Normandy invasion type thing. And in the preview, I think he might be using the event groups file. He's got where like tanks are basically firing rounds like into the battlefield, and you've got explosions sequenced in multiple places at the same time. So all that stuff like builds up and leads to something else eventually.
The Forerunners of console coding.
Yeah. I mean, it's what do you call that? There's a whole culture of people who they'll take like old like Game Boy systems and stuff and try to like modify them to do new things with them. I think there's a particular word for it.
Like hacking. I know that. I think
yeah,
what
like
you're talking about, but like, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like partly working these. I mean, I have a PC server. I just don't spend a lot of time with it because I more enjoy trying to make things happen on the console servers because it's more difficult. You know what I mean? So like, I think there's a spirit of that with the console servers. It's not, a lot of us involved with it. It's not because we couldn't be doing PC or doing other things. It's just, maybe it's just because we're just special, we're just sick that way.
A lot of us actually, speaking of console plebs, a lot of us actually have PCs and can, have PCs and we can play Dayz on PC. No worries. But console, I don't know. It just has a vibe about it. I just love, the chillax vibe of console. It's just, it's a completely different vibe to PC. So even though we have the option there, we can stream. We can go on and load up Dayz, stream it on PC. But it's not where our heart's at. So just
Arch in the chat said
prefer
it's the
console.
skill gap. We get it.
It's skill gap. That's it. Yeah, we understand.
Yeah,
you guys
don't know,
struggle without both hands on the.
I think it's more of a PC issue, honestly, because console isn't out there trashing the PC community. We get shit on constantly, but we're just having fun doing our thing. So,
for sure.
they can kind of suck it, in my opinion.
I know it's actually funny because more people own a console than a PC. So you guys are the minority. So back off.
That's it.
It'll be interesting though. Hear me out. With Xbox, I'm not sure about PlayStation, but with Xbox, one of the great things we have on PC is cloud gaming and like remote play and stuff. So what if we were able to get a few people from the PC side to hop on console and come on for a bit of a PvP time, console versus PC?
Yeah,
we can also do the same thing.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I was actually reading an article the other day that surprised me, and they were talking about even like with controllers and they were surprised how many people on PC had registered actually using a controller. That surprised me because a lot of people say, oh, I prefer to go to PC because mouse and keyboard, it's more accurate, it's more this, blah blah blah. Yeah, it turns out there's a lot of closet PC players.
Uh-oh. Lost connection again. See, it's so weird because I don't think it's an internet thing. Cause I'm still talking right now, I think. I think you guys can still hear me. But for some reason, Discord just does not like me right now. But if we give it a few seconds, it'll probably come back. Hold on. It's the weirdest thing. This has not happened before. Yeah, DDoS. Exactly.
yeah, why would I go?
Nope.
Because
Welcome back. There we go.
you guys know me more as a social player, so that's I have no reason to go over to PC because all my friends are on console. That's who I want to hang with, and that's what it is at the end of the day. Go where your
Yeah.
friends are.
And that's the thing, at the core of all this, it's the community, and it's the people that we meet, and the experiences that we create, or the experiences we have, that really keep us playing. Because a lot of us could have moved to PC. We have the resources to, but we chose to stay on console.
Yeah.
Because it's what we started with. B, it's where we've grown our platforms. Like just imagine having building up as much as you have, Greedy, and then building it all from the beginning again on PC.
I don't think I could have even made that sort of an impact if I was a PC streamer. I mean, when it just comes down to streaming and Dayz itself, a lot of the PC guys that go in and stream up against people who have been in the Dayz world for as long as I can remember. I don't know how you could compete with like the Running Man to be. Just as one example. That was a lot of the draw with starting streaming on Dayz. The ability to, there was no big streamers. It was one of the reasons why I got into it. I went to go find my own stuff, and I really couldn't find anyone that was Xbox streaming. So that was one of the things. But there was a complete and open market that sat untouched because people didn't want to see what we saw and saw what we enjoyed. So, after going through a few servers, I was just like, well, I think people need to see what's actually out here because console's getting a bit of a hard rap here, but this is bloody amazing. It's blowing my socks off. Why wouldn't it blow anyone else's?
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that I make known when I put up my stream is I make sure I put in there I'm Xbox on console, and you'd be surprised how many people actually search that up and how many people join my stream and go, "Oh my God, you're Xbox, you're an Xbox player. I've been looking for an Xbox console, streamer to watch because that's what I play on." They want to see people playing the game on the platform that they're on. But the problem is, for some reason, we're just not getting I don't know what it is, but we're just getting really tucked down in there. It's very hard to find people who are actually playing on console. And I think that's one of the problems as well. We don't seem to get as much of a push or love as much as PC streamers do. And I don't know what that is, why that is, or how to correct that. Because like I said, there's a hell of a lot of people who own a console, and they are trying to find people, streamers who are on the same platform, but just can't find them.
And I think the work that a lot of the console cult's done, a lot of the console streamers have done, has brought a lot of people to stream on console and given that recognition of, hey, you can do it. I know when I first started and I couldn't find it now, I can give you a list of 40 Dayz streamers that are all on console.
Yeah. That's it. That was one of the things with when we Greedy and I created the console cult, was to bring the community together, because the thing is, you can't make a movement just with one person. You have to move as a group, and not just streamers, like content creators, the players. We all have to sort of move together to make an impact. And that's one of the benefits of having the console cult. So players know where to find streamers, and streamers like Greedy who do the server reviews. They go, "Oh right, okay, these servers are out there. I didn't even know." So it's basically to highlight, hey, there's some pretty awesome people in the community, whether you're a server owner, and even players themselves. Like I mentioned before, Noah, is a big part of the community, and he wears the same skin and everything, and you walk up and oh, that's Noah, and people know him now as a public figure. He's a player, he's not a streamer, and that's the thing. It's not just the streamers, it's the people, it's the community, and it's also the server owners as well. We all sort of have to move together.
100%.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. And that's the thing, it's so amazing that there's still people like that trying to do stuff like this, and it wasn't a matter of everyone just moving over, migrating to PC. Because I know for some people it's not an option. Some people just, depending on what their situation is, they might not be able to switch to PC, and having people there that they can watch, it helps them a lot, because I remember a time, a few years back, I couldn't afford a PC, and honestly, it was pretty shitty, watching like people play Namalskin or the modded maps and thinking like, I'm just walking around in circles in Chinoris doing the same stuff I've been doing since the game was in preview, So I think that now that we have the tools, now that we have the people and the community built, I think it helps a lot, and I think for a lot of those people that are in those situations, it really can help them. Because
I think it's drawing a lot more players in too.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's bringing a lot more people into the cause, and people that may have not wanted to play DayZ before or have played DayZ in the past are coming back. And one thing I'd really like to reiterate as well is, regardless of what platform you're on, PC, console, whatever, we're all working towards the same thing. We're all fighting for the same goal, and we're all trying to accomplish the same stuff. I think that's the amazing thing, because it's not DayZ console or DayZ PC, it's the DayZ community, and that's all of us.
Exactly. Like we have great friends that are on PC, and we support them. Even in the console cult Discord, we have a section which is called our PC friends, where they can come in and promote their streams as well. So we don't do the exclusion. Even though it's labeled console cult, but we support everyone and anyone. Some of the ones that we have a lot to do with is like Old Dirty Sniper. Jemmy Boo is one that recently that we love hanging out with in our chats and stuff. She's great. She's a good time. So there's there's PC streamers out there that we just adore and support each other. I had a nice fat raid from Echo the other week, which was absolutely lovely. I found Echo on TikTok, and so we there's definitely the love there. There's only those few odd weirdos that for some reason want to put a line between PC and console. I don't know why. It's bizarre to me.
Yeah, but that's the thing, it's DayZ, regardless of how you want to see it. It's the same game, it's just different experiences, but we're all playing the same thing. We're all trying to experience the same things, and it's really nice, It's really cool. And I think
It's very cool.
What do you think, man? I know you've been a bit quiet throughout this, and it doesn't help that I don't believe you have much experience on console yourself, but
No, I don't. I first, actually, just before we get to that, I just want to say thank you to Darkwing for the $5 donation.
Oh,
it says for Archie's comedy show in chat. Indeed. Yeah, I used to be console. I on PC my entire life with everything, but I did own like an Xbox One on release day, and the whole reason I kept it for so long, I've sold it since, but the whole reason I kept it for so long was the community of like, a lot of my friends were still on Xbox or whatever, so like, I owned some games both for PC and for Xbox just so I could play with different people. And so basically just the same as everybody said here is like, basically it's just because of the people.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I mean, like right now, the only reason, really to go to PC versus console would be like maybe the mods. I think that's a big one. Except even then, like the future of what they plan on doing with Infusion, is having an integrated workshop so that you can use mods on console in the future for Armor Reforger, for example.
That's it. That's going to be wicked.
Oh,
If
like
that comes to
opening a
Dayz,
workshop.
that will be
Yeah.
next level.
Yeah, I don't.
We had a lot of fun on
It
there.
won't come to the current version of DayZ, but like if they're working on some sort of port to the full Infusion engine, like a DayZ 2 or something, then I would imagine that's what they would do. But yeah.
Yeah, but even with those things that happen in the PC world, like if you said to me we'd get unlimited stim on console, I would have laughed at you 18 months ago. Here we are rolling with a simple change of a file. We've got unlimited stamina. We can adjust our stamina. So hopefully they might be able to integrate those mods into the game and allow us to be able to change it via JSON files further into the future.
Yeah. Archie, I'm glad you like the background. Yeah, I'm just in the studio here where I would do my day job.
What's the day job?
Is it couch interviews?
Casting couch.
It only took 102 minutes for someone to bring it up.
That looks like an
Nice.
Xbox couch, actually.
Did
Yeah,
everybody,
definitely.
did everybody here watch the
That's
update
where
teaser?
he moves over there and plays his Xbox over there.
Yeah.
That's a good point, Iceblade. Have you guys seen the update teaser for 119?
Of opening the vault and stuff?
No, like the one they released like on launch, because they released like a whole cinematic.
Why don't you show it, Lemons?
Yeah, I've seen a few of them.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm not
send
too
a link
sure
off
if
to you
it's the
guys.
one that I've seen.
Because what was interesting about this, and I believe it was Marks that made a post about this, but two things. First of all, most of the trailer was actually recorded using DayZ assets imported into the Infusion engine, which was really interesting. Second of all, the video in less than 20 hours, not even 24, in less than 20, like probably, I think it was like 18 hours after it released, already had 100,000 views on it on YouTube.
Wow.
Which is insane, you know?
Gotta start using their titles.
There you go. At least I'm thank you.
Yeah, and it was who was it? It was a Scale Speeder who made a video about it being like pretty much a confirmation that DayZ is coming to Infusion.
Yeah, yeah.
Was it Scale?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Which I don't necessarily believe is true because, I mean, I really wish that were the case, and it's certainly a possibility. However, I think that just to get some cool footage, all you would need to do would be to port over a few different assets and, just have it in a dark, dank area and to get those cool cinematics. But yeah. Foxy Po, thank you for the €5. Is that a euro? Pound donation? Forgive my North American ignorance.
Thank you very much, Foxy. I'm just tossing the link in right now
Much
for you guys. I think
appreciated.
I do not know what it did here, but it butchered the YouTube link for some reason. Let me try and get a better one here. Hold on. There it is. So I just sent in the stage chat, so if you guys want to open it up, I can give us the countdown. We can all watch that together.
Stage chat. You could do the start an activity together now on Discord. Yeah, so you could all watch it together.
Oh, watch YouTube. What?
Yeah.
This is pretty crazy. Okay.
So I can come.
We're learning stuff together here, folks. This is a learning process. Okay. Paste YouTube video. All
Actually,
right.
while we're on the
see
topic
this?
of Discord, Has anyone tried Discord on Xbox yet? I haven't tried that.
Yeah, I
I
have.
have. It's pretty clunky, honestly.
Yeah,
Oh, it
it's
is.
all you're basically doing is it takes out the party chat and links you to exactly what we're in now, but via Xbox. So you
Oh.
can't do any options with it. There's nothing you can do but chat,
Though
and you have
they
to
did
do it
say
through your
Just volume
Xbox
and
app.
stuff.
they did say though that they're gonna be releasing an update this month that will be changing that, where you can actually just connect through to channels through the app and not have to worry about using your phone or like using a barcode or anything like that, or like a QR code,
hmm
which would be really nice. But here, can you guys see this right now? 119 trailer. Is it all popped up for you guys in the call?
No, they need to. You guys need to click. Yeah, there you go. Click on lemons
Yeah.
and click watch together or whatever. We need to do like some some Daisy podcast reaction videos.
Daisy podcast reaction videos, absolutely. Let's see. Archie in the chat said, "That's my question, Lemons. How will Infusion Daisy work on acquainted console systems?" Or sorry, yeah, antiquated console systems. That's a good question, Archie, and I think the best answer is it won't. If you've seen stuff like Armor of Forger, it's only available on the newest consoles. Like you can't get that on any of the older ones. You can't get that on the original Xbox or anything like that. So I think it's gonna be one of those things where like they'll just cut it off support. And
You'll have
unfortunately,
to upgrade like PC does.
yeah.
You just have to upgrade.
And we've had this talk before, and unfortunately, it's just how it's going to be because we can only move forward. And for people who are stuck on those old consoles, there's only so much that can be done until it's holding back the community. It's holding back what can be done because eventually, they need to update eventually. Like, but
100%. No one's rolling around on Sega Mega Drives anymore.
there you go. Right. Do we all have the teaser up?
Yep.
All right. Usually allowed to give us a countdown to play the video, but because we're all synced together in this video, I can just click play and it starts for all of us. So, in 3, 2, 1.
Peggy 18.
Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Mm.
Where's my mechanic so I can stab people that stand over me when I'm unconscious?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but even then, it doesn't really look like. Some of it doesn't look like gameplay, so I'm wondering if the Infusion engine, like the Unreal 5 engine, has like a cinematic type of feature.
Mm.
You think so? I thought, yeah, okay, maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you can see when she went up the ladder that was very gameplay.
That part was, yeah.
Yeah, hardcore. Or terrible acting. Either either. Nah, that's my first look at it.
Yeah, that's my first. That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, I like that. I like that they're taking the time to like build up some hype and like doing this whole story arc of the lore.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Hunter and the Yellow King battle out.
Definitely. How do I get out of this activity thing?
It'd be cool if you could grab players like that, like the dude with the helmet grabbing her off the ladder, dragging her down. That's like Grady mentioned before. I like a bit of PUBG, and that's one of the things in PUBG. You can pick up players and carry them. Oh, it'd be so good if you could do that in DayZ.
You'd never touch the floor. Or your viewers would just pick you up and just carry you wherever they want.
I would want to. I'd be like, carry me. Carry
That's
me.
it. Come on,
man.
minions, off to Electro, carry.
Mosh. Mosh.
That's it.
Bring me
Mosh,
food,
mosh.
Felipe. Bring me food.
Don't bring me food. Bring me to the food.
Oh, take me to the food. And a fire.
And a fire.
And rub my feet.
The amount of like sick and twisted videos we would end up with after that.
Oh, I imagine. Well, that's what we were doing on PUBG.
Capturing
We
people.
were collecting players, see how many we could actually like just knock out, pick them up, drag them to a building, lock them in there, go back, get another one. Had all these people just crawling around.
Oh, there we go.
Right. I hope you guys can hear me now. I know DOJ in chat was saying that we can't hear Lemons, but it should be working now. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Well, no, you guys can, but I have my mic going through a different source on OBS, so it can go through to the stream. So
Oh,
Okay.
right.
Can chat hear Lemons? It's okay if you can't.
Yeah,
All the time too.
Throw some lad champs in chat if you can hear me, or some lemons or anything. But
Yeah, you're good,
yeah,
you're
okay,
good.
we're good.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep,
But that trailer was amazing, you know. And I was saying to people that a lot of the other trailers that we've had have been kind of, you know, I don't want to say cheesy, but you know, you could clearly see the division between in-game footage and like fabricated footage or like footage created like in Blender. But just the whole trailer we had for 119 seems so seamless, like between the two. And of course, you could see like some of the mocap portions, but just the entire sequence of the trailer was just so well done. You know, there was 18 people alone that were just working on editing the video.
Oh, really? Where'd you hear that?
Wow.
It's in the description of the video. There was 18 people working on like the editing, the motion capture, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it was just, it's so crazy to see that they had so many people working that hard to create something for Dayz. And all it shows me is that Dayz is a big ticket thing for Bohemia, and it's something that they likely won't be dropping for a while, because if it's something that they wanted to throw on the back burner or something they didn't care about, they wouldn't be throwing all that money into creating such a high budget movie, or well, it's not
Yeah,
movie per se,
100%.
but high budget trailer, you know, and like a cinematic trailer, 100%, because that was amazing. Like, you know, compare that to like the trailer we got in 114. Was that the one with like the heli crashes, or 113, where everyone was coming out of the heli crashes, like the machetes and stuff? Just compare the two of those. That was filmed all in game, and this, you know, we're starting to get more and more cinematic trailers, you know, and it's really cool. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very cool. Get your full amps. I love it.
yeah. Oh yeah, Arch in the chat said, "Cool, now fix the infected." Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy, you know.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, Lemons. I don't know if you're much of a TikToker, but these days, but one thing I've noticed in the last several months
Yep.
is Dayz has been blowing up like with kind of meme type videos, and
Yeah,
a
like
lot of
the
them
Stimpy,
are
the Stimpy style videos, you know.
a lot of them are clips where they've like overlaid scenes from a movie. So like, you
Oh,
know,
yeah, they could.
someone's like when you die and you have to run back, and then they overlaid like Forrest Gump running along the coast, like up the road. You know what I mean? To get back.
Oh,
and it,
stuff
for,
like that.
it-
Yeah. I
For
get what you're
some
talking
reason,
about.
it hits hard. Like it's really good. And there's that one with that little guy, the little Russian, what's his name, like Hasibula or something, and he's eating the spoonful of like porridge or something, and he keeps looking around. I've seen tons of those. It's like every little situation in Dayz, and they pop him in there. I mean, Rust gets a lot of those type videos, but Dayz has that similar meme vibe, you know. And
Funny
I think it
enough-
is drawing a lot of attention and people in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Funny
like the
enough,
one that,
I actually have one here.
Really should.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. I was gonna say, funny enough, I actually had a clip here that follows that format that I had in the clip section of the what is it, the show agenda. I'll
Mhm.
send this over to you guys because unfortunately we won't be able to watch this like through the activities thing, but
No,
I'll
I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
I think a huge reason for this is because Daisy is such an emotional experience, right? It gets you
Yeah.
attached to your character, and so when you're like sitting there eating a can of beans or something and looking around, you know,
Uh-huh.
because you're afraid someone's gonna roll up on you and kill you, and you know you get
Yeah.
that. It really gives you that like the longer your character is alive, the more afraid you are of like of running into someone, dying, like whatever, right? And so
Yeah.
because
Yeah, definitely.
D&D is such an emotional experience, and like our
Mhm.
entertainment, like movies are such an emotional experience. When you throw those
Mhm.
two together, and like you have the memory of watching the movie versus playing the game, it really like they really mesh well together. So I think
Yeah, and
that's why this
it,
happened. You're getting
and
like
it's
great memes.
and it's like all those little quiet moments, you know, and the small touches with Daisy. Whereas
Mm.
like PUBG, great fun, but Battle Royale, you're like under the gun. Like you have to move. You can't hang out and listen to the wind and the birds and stuff. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And you don't
Yeah.
like
with some meat.
chill in a building for half an hour, like drying out your clothes and cooking and stuff. So
Yeah.
like it hits on more of a human level.
Yeah.
There's one in particular with it's Joe Pesci, and I don't know what movie it was from. I don't know if anyway, but they 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 show like some kind of custom base with like castle walls and towers and stuff, and Joe Pesci comes walking up like in this like salmon colored suit, and he's like looks up at it and he's like, what the fuck is that, you know?
We
It's
played that on
just
the show before actually. Yeah, we played that. We played
you
that one on the
did,
show.
yeah.
Yeah.
They just hit. It's just funny. So like I feel like it gives Daisy some kind of marketing power that way, that it connects. Like a lot of games don't, you know.
Mm.
Totally.
Yeah. Here, hold on. I'm gonna try and throw
Yeah,
this clip up on
definitely.
the
Greedy shared one the other day, and it was the Keanu Reeves, and he's sitting at the table and he's eating like, human
Oh
steak.
yeah,
And it's
the
like,
the sorry
when
one,
you mate, yeah, when you have to eat your mate to survive, and he's sitting there
right?
eating these human steaks, crying
Yeah, with the big wine glass.
with big wine glass.
Trigger
Yeah,
warning.
that was done so well. Like they
That
had
had me in
they had Keanu
stitches.
Reeves. Keanu Reeves sitting at the, their little red and white checkered tables inside the buildings. He was actually sitting there perfectly with these human steaks in front of him. It was so good. It's done so well.
Like a rent try buy system that we have.
Darkwing, Your Man's Bowl. How good is Your Man's Bowl? Holy shit. He's so good at it. If you haven't already, you gotta follow Your Man's Bowl on TikTok. He's so good. So good. He makes awesome ones. I 100% agree, Darkwing. He's good value. Even the ones that he just does, like, push that aside, just his little interactions and stuff. I always miss his live streams. He must stream when it's my night, but he's really good. Big shout out to your man's bowl. Definitely. He's a great streamer. Get some great interactions and killing it on TikTok.
I'm just trying to get this video up right
Oh
now.
yeah, he must put him.
'Cause
He must put him from TikTok over to YouTube Shorts. Yeah, no, he's a streamer on Twitch. Streamer on Twitch as well. He's good.
No, Trip. I don't have Game Pass. I just bought the game, and that's my biggest investment. I'm done. That's 4 years well spent.
Well, actually,
You
you
see
can get it
that?
40% off at the moment, can't you? Or I think that's just Steam. Is it Steam or all platforms
Yeah.
at the moment? You get Dayz 40% off. I assume that would be Livonia as well, or not? I'm not too sure.
And I think I bought mine for like $40 for the preview. Back in the day, it's like 100 and something now, I believe.
Well, that's how I got into DayZ, was when they released it on Game Pass. I was just looking for another game. I was a massive Overwatch player, years and years and years. That's all I played, 100%. And then I wanted a break, and so I started playing. What's that other zombie game where you go around and you have
oh,
to?
7 Days to Die.
No, 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 no. I'm gonna mind blank now. And you have the sacks, and you have to go, and they got the screamer
Oh no,
zombies,
you're
the
yeah.
juggernauts, the
Oh, not Dying Light, or
no,
Nah, it's the one where you got to build the towns up and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And you take over a compound, and then you go into a bigger one, and you get people.
It just recently came out with number 2.
Yeah.
State of
Oh,
Decay, that's it.
State of Decay.
State of
yeah.
Decay. State of Decay. Great game. I was hooked on that. Got full hooked on that. And then, but then I was looking for like more sort of zombie games, and then yeah, DayZ came up on Game Pass. So
Right.
I'll
Let's see
give
if I can
this a
get this
go.
video playing here.
It's the
You guys might
greatest
have
thing
to.
ever.
You guys might have to watch through the actual stream, but let me know if this actually gets audio, guys.
See that sucker over there? 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds.
That go through for you guys? You get the audio on that?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. But no, it's stuff like that though. I find that's hilarious. And it's really cool to see that there's people warming up again and creating content like that for the community.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, Marks. We were dubbed over that clip, you know. We can fight that. But yeah, we are getting pretty close to the end of the show right now. I mean, we have already gotten pretty far over it. I mean, we're pushing half an hour here. Yeah, it was me singing Darkwing, absolutely. Speaking of Darkwing, guys, if you didn't know, Darkwing won the Livonia giveaway, which is really cool. So he's gonna be getting a code to Livonia and Dayz.
Congratulations.
I believe it's the
Congrats.
DLC and
Yeah,
the
that's
so good job, buddy.
High five.
But yeah, just checking to see if we have anything left here on the show agenda. The last thing is here, and I would like to talk about this one before we get off. What were you gonna say, Iceblood?
I was gonna say show the meme of like every newbie's map view of Chernarus.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Let me pull this up
While
real
we're on,
quick.
before we leave the memes.
Before we leave the memes, absolutely.
He's loving the memes.
We need to do.
We'll just make it all about memes.
We need to do a meme section every show now.
That's it.
Yeah.
React
Dayz
to
meme
memes
review.
show.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. Just sit here and laugh.
Yeah, that's how
our
you do it,
butts
right?
off.
As long as you got a reaction, you know, you just gotta. It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this here was uploaded to Reddit by user Libricus, I want to say. I probably butchered your name. If I did, I'm very sorry. But I'm going to put this up in the stream. And it just says that I made a map for the majority of DayZ standalone players enjoy. Let me see if I can get this up here. It's quite the interesting approach. Here we go. What do you guys think?
God, I laughed at this.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I think they've ventured too far west, but should cut it off at Belota. That's hilarious, isn't it?
I got one. I like this piano mod here. I just put it up in chat for people to look at, but if you can bring it up on the main screen.
Hold on. There we go, guys. Sorry about that. All I was saying that I think we're gonna call it here. Keep it even, 6:30. Don't want to push it any further. I know this was like a really nice really nice episode. We got to do a lot and talk about a lot of things about both 119 and the console side of things, and I think it was amazing. I had quite the blast, it was quite a slice, and now we're moving on to our spotlights. So, for those who don't know, at the end of every episode, each one of the guests and the hosts get to showcase something that they've been liking, or something that just caught their eye in the DayZ community. So I know Iceblade, you said you have a piano mod you want to show off.
Yeah. So where was it?
Let's see this here.
I put the link in chat there. You could probably bring it up on the pod screen.
Do you want to put it into the stage chat?
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah, so essentially once the piano gets up there, once you like put it up, or maybe you have to like walk up to it. I don't remember. I'm sure it says in here. So you get up to it, you press F, you're now the owner of the piano. So no one else can play it. And then you use your keyboard as the piano notes to be able to like play that piano.
Oh wow.
That's so
I thought that was
cool.
pretty dope.
There you go,
That is
Trip.
very cool.
There you go, Trip. We
Oh,
want to see a live
Trip.
Dayz performance.
So that was published by Not Yes 555 on the 17th of October. It's a brand new mod. And yeah, I thought it was pretty damn cool.
That'd be incredible. That'd be so incredible.
Yeah, I know.
We've
I know,
always
Marks.
wanted to have those sessions where we just hang out and
Did you bring it up, Lemons? Mark's
I
is
having,
saying
a,
people
having
don't
a bit
see
of problems
it.
with that. Do you mind sharing your screen, putting that up here?
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Share.
I feel you. I feel you, Trip. I feel you. Goddamn bastard. Got us up an hour early.
That's it. You're always bloody late to our events, so this is how it is. I had to loophole yous. Now you know what it's like, lady.
Oh, I see. Actually, yeah. Yeah, that was actually good thinking. Yeah. I think I start off every stream by saying, "Well, we're late again." Yep, we're late again. Sorry. Yep.
Is that working? Is the sound working
It
through
is.
the?
I'm not sure if we're getting sound right now. I can definitely see the video.
Well, there's definitely sound.
Interesting.
Basically, he's playing the piano, and yeah, the piano mod. He's got a
Awesome.
Discord here. You can join.
Here, do you want to throw that link in chat?
The Discord link.
Yep.
Or the Steam page.
Both if you want.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
That's very cool.
I did throw the Steam community or the Steam link in chat already, so I'll do the where am I? It's Discord there.
Yeah, I was going to say just say
It'd
that
be
you are
cool,
still
like
sharing your screen, but
on Fallout 76, they have a lot of like they have the pianos and guitars and stuff that
Yep.
you can collect and go up and actually sit down and play. It'd be cool if we had that in DayZ too.
Yeah, 'cause we just had a guitar mod come out recently on PC, which was really fun. It wasn't just like pre-made songs; you could actually play like the chords on it and the different notes,
Oh, that's cool.
and that was really, really cool. But on that note, Smiley, Greedy, do you guys have anything specific you want to be showcasing?
Not particularly. I just wanted to sort of mention probably, what we've already touched on before. Just, really a lot of thanks to the community for supporting not just us as streamers, but just, supporting the community as a whole, sticking together. And, also hats off to our PC fam who also support us. Like I mentioned before, like some of us console streamers are also getting rated and recognized by like I had a sweet raid from Echo. Deathbringer's another one who's a massive supporter of the console community. Jemmy Boo, like they're just a handful. So it's really lovely to see. We are one big community. I've never been in a community like it before in all the games that I've played previously. I've never, been in anything like this, and it really is incredible how we can all meet up. So many friendships have been made. I've met so many people, so many awesome people, some funny people, and it's I just feel privileged that I get to run with these guys, every day. And now we always have someone to play with. Like you can jump in the console cult Discord, say, hey. Where's everyone at? What servers are you playing on? Anyone want to go for a run? And just seeing people like link up and say, yeah, yeah, buddy, I'll come for a run with you. And it's just, I don't know, it's just beautiful to see. And anyway, I just personally wanted to give my thanks to everyone for yeah, coming together and showing some love.
Absolutely. That was actually
100%.
awesome. What about you, Grady?
I'd probably like to put the spotlight on recently with the Halloween release, the ability for console to now have a harder zombie that's a bit more difficult. I didn't really pay much attention to the Halloween release. I was more focused on the 119 update, and recently came in contact with one of these zombies. I had no idea what it was about, and after 12 baseball hits to the head, panicked and ran away and hid in a shed because I had no idea how to deal with it. I think that particular zombie will be a game changer for console, as now we have something you can't just walk up a knife and be dealt with. So yeah, big shout out to the Dayz devs for bringing in something a little bit more harder, a little bit more strategy needed to defend.
Oh, definitely.
100%. And last but not
Yeah.
least, Goblin.
Hey,
What
actually,
about you, man?
can I just ask? Can
Yeah.
I just ask? Sorry, can I just ask real quick? I haven't yet taken down one of those mummies. Did they drop something really special or not?
Yeah, high tier meds.
Oh, do they? Meds.
Yeah,
Okay.
so there was like 5 freshies punching on with this one that was at Brenner, and I ended up giving the king hit and stealing his goods, and it had quite high meds like iodine bottle, full bandage, and something else. I think it was an IV kit. But
Yeah,
you know,
right.
yeah, I don't know if that'd be worth suffering and
Because
dying 20
you
times
need it.
for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need it after that
The
many.
iodine's required for the rags to be able to heal all the cuts, and
Yeah.
but it was still a good challenge. It was good for me because I mean I've been playing for so long, and I came up against this glowing zombie, and I just walked in super confident, like, "Hey, zombie, it's not gonna." And it gave me a hide, and it ended sending me
yeah.
back to the river, but. Yeah, definitely something that I'd like to highlight, and I'd like to see more as being an adversary in the game, a little bit more harder.
Are they only in Livonia?
No, you can put them anywhere.
No, but I mean, like, have they only been released on Livonia? Like, have they been released in Chernarus? I haven't actually played Chernarus since.
No, they should be on both
I
maps.
think so. Yeah, I
They're
think
on
like
both?
the
Yeah,
Halloween
because
event's
it's
on
a
both of
Halloween
them, but
update.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Will they stick around after the Halloween or?
No, they'll be disappearing after that. It's the same way like how during Christmas we have the Santa sleigh crashes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You'll find
Well,
them
that's
on
a shame.
emotional damage
I'd
all
like
the
to see it.
time.
Yep.
Yeah,
That should be the
nice.
only zombie, Greedy. It should be the only zombie
That's
on
it.
there.
There
Yep.
will be a ritual to summon hordes of them.
Well,
just to make us go that little bit more insane.
yep,
That's it.
just that tiny bit more, but last but not least, Goblin, my friend, do you have anything you'd like to showcase from the Dayz community?
Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Yep.
Loud and clear.
All right. I would just second, I think, what Smiley was saying, and kind of throw it back to Greedy and Smiley and yourself, and to whoever's checking this out live or on playback in the chat. All my Dayz friends far and wide, just appreciate the community very much. And we might kind of forget this, but I know for me, my deep dive into playing Dayz was during the early days of like COVID lockdowns and things like that. And honestly, getting into the server management and design and really getting involved with the player base and everything carried me through some difficult times through all that. Gave me something to really focus on in the wee hours of the night and other times when I was teleworking for the last 2.5 years. So when I think back over the last, period of time, I really you don't even think about like COVID and all that much. Honestly, it's just been like completely saturated by this Dayz experience and all the friends I've made and continue to have, and you know, have my little periodic mental breakdowns, and I think I'm just gonna quit it all and just burn it all down. And my friends come along and tap me after a couple days and they pull me right back in. So
Yeah, you're not getting away with nothing.
sending the love out to all my friends out there, and
Yeah, we
looking
love
forward
that.
to having a lot more fun with you all. And love to the PC side of the house too. Like, I was just joshing around. I play PC. I follow a lot of PC streamers. I wouldn't even really know or had been enthusiastic about Dayz without some of the PC personalities that got me interested in the first place. I was a big fan of Nazar and his videos in particular.
You ain't get my blouse, man.
Of course, I was a little pissed when I started playing the game, and I was like, nothing that happens in those videos ever happens when I'm playing Dayz. But I think we all know that experience, right? But a couple years into it, we're starting to make some things happen just with the player interaction and making new friends and things like that. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks for having me on. It was a nice time.
Awesome. It was a pleasure, having all of you guys on. I know
thanks for having
a
us.
few of you guys have been on before, and I know for Smile at least this is your first time on here. So I know this podcast or this episode was a bit more frantic, and we did have a few more issues, because we don't have Lad here today. So it was an interesting one, I'll tell you that. And
other than being a bit late,
though,
I think
all around, a little bit later, yeah. And all around, though, I think it was a pretty good one, pretty smooth.
Agreed.
I'm glad to meet you,
initial hiccups,
Yeah, nice to meet you, Iceblade. Thank you. Thanks
Pleasure.
for having us here.
Appreciate your Ice and Lemons. You guys did a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
Lemons. We love lemons.
Yeah.
Thanks, lemons.
Alrighty, I'll talk to you guys soon.
Adios.